Hey guys, welcome to the show, 888-659-3727. Great to be here, another Tuesday night doing the Bald Show. I'm Spencer Kobren, and look, it's the Bald Truth. If you're new to the broadcast, don't know who I am, why I'm here. I am a consumer advocate, believe it or not, for men and women dealing with hair loss. I am the author, we got a lot going on here, by the way, of The Bald Truth and The Truth About Women's Hair Loss, the two most read books on the subject and the prevention of hair loss in the world, published in 5 languages. And I'm not stating that to make it like it's a big deal. I guess it is a big deal. But, you know, it's part of my credentials. It's who I am. It's what I've accomplished. I'm also the founder of the American Hair Loss Association and the founder of the International Alliance of Hair Restoration Surgeons. A lot of stuff. But the bottom line is I am a hair loss sufferer who has been dealing with hair loss for over 2 decades. I started to lose my hair at the age of 21. I am now almost 50 years old, and I have been fortunate enough to basically slow the progression of my hair loss using FDA-approved products. The main drug that I use is Finasteride or Propecia. And there's a little bit of a comb over, paint the back of my head, spray it tight, and, you know, I hope for the best. Excuse me, guys. But I will tell you that, you know, even though you're looking at me right now, if you're watching the show, if you're not listening on iTunes Radio or Stitcher Radio or through iHeartRadio or through all of the incredible audio sources that are covering or carrying this broadcast, if you're watching this on Ustream or Guys from Queens Network or on The Bald Truth or on, where else are we? YouTube. God, we're everywhere, I guess. There's another big one, but I can't remember because I'm getting old. But wherever you're watching me, if you're seeing me for the first time, and yeah, you know, I'm telling you that, you know, this is a quasi comb over and I have to deal with a lot of hairspray. The truth is I'm bald on the inside. That's just the way that it is. I started losing my hair at such a young age. It affected me so terribly that I turned this into my career. I turned my Achilles heel into what I do for a living. Now, if you're new, I am not selling you anything. I am not here to sell surgery or to sell you some bullshit product or service. We're here to guide you safely through this incredibly treacherous industry. Let me tell you, I've been around for a long time. I've been doing this for 17 years, and this is treacherous. My first book was published in 1998, and as much as we've been able to change the field, and I do take credit for a lot of the evolution of this field, because just basically by exposing the truth about the industry, it created a tremendous amount of economic pressure for, you know, to affect real change. But as much as we've been able to do, the industry is still fucked up. It is a complete mess. It is a $3.5 billion a year industry, and 99% of all products and services that are being sold in this piece of crap industry are bullshit, will not help you in any way, shape, or form. Just nonsense. And by the way, if you see me kind of looking away and I look preoccupied, I'm dealing with my phones. I got Joe Tillman, who's having problems with Skype on my other machine. I'm trying to do my opening. I'm doing my sound. So, you know, I'm a little busy. But I'm doing my best. I'm trying to give you my attention, obviously. But, and Joe Tillman, I will try to call you back in a second, so don't worry. We'll pot you up when we have a chance. But with all that said, even though for the most part it's still a piece of crap industry, there is, you know, something out there, some stuff out there that can really help. Look, I've been helped by using FDA-approved drugs. I've been helped by using Finasteride. Surgical hair restoration, currently there are a handful of guys who are doing state-of-the-art hair transplantation, really, changing lives. There are incredible hair pieces out there that no one wants to talk about, but they exist, and you don't have to join a club to wear one. But that's an option that, especially for young guys, they don't want to even think about. You can do a combo deal like me, with the paint job, the hairspray, and if you're lucky enough to save hair. Or, what I suggest to most guys who are dealing with hair loss, if they can deal with it, just shave your head or cut it really short, move on, change the channel, do not watch this broadcast, do not go on the message forums, do not spend a dime in this industry. But a lot of people can't deal with it. I was not equipped to deal with my hair loss at a young age. So, I did whatever I could to stop it. Now, I got a lot of calls on the line. I will take your calls in a second. Joe Tillman, I will try to call you back in a minute. Let me see if I can hook up with you right now. I was invited to speak at a conference this weekend. Actually, I was invited to speak on Thursday. The conference lasted throughout the weekend. And it was a conference that was run by Restoration Robotics. It was the Artist Robot User Conference. And I've been talking about artists for a long time. I've been telling you how I truly believe that either artists itself, the robot itself, or this type of technology is the future of surgical hair restoration. Love it or hate it, these are the facts. And I have seen the future, and I got to tell you that, in my view, it's looking pretty bright. So I've been talking to these guys for a long time, and I've told you guys this, and they invited me to speak at this conference. I got to tell you, I'm going to have to pat them on the back because that was pretty smart. I've been doing this for 17 years. The ISHRS never invited me to speak. We are the clearinghouse for complaints through the IHRS, through the American Hair Loss Association, and through the Bald Truth. We have more eyeballs and more people listening to us and more people reading our content than any other resources online or in the world. But for some reason, the ISHRS, in my view, never really was that concerned about having their finger on the pulse of what was going on with the real hair loss sufferer or the consumer. Because if they were, they would have kind of embraced what I've been doing over all these years. But listen, I still think the ISHRS has its place. It's a great organization for what it is. But it is certainly not, in my view, a really forward-thinking organization and an organization that is a consumer-centric organization. But it's a great place for hair transplant doctors to get together and learn how to do hair transplantation correctly if they want to learn from the right people. Well, anyway, artists invited me to speak, and I was like, all right, what am I going to talk about? They wanted me to be a motivational speaker at this event. Now, I even said this during the talk. I'm thinking to myself, you guys have a robot that does hair transplants. Well, who do I have to motivate here? The thing basically sells itself, especially since this latest iteration is actually working. But what I learned by going to the conference was, I learned a lot. First of all, I've been to many conferences, and every conference that I go to, and all the conferences have been ISHRS conferences, guys pull me aside. They want to know how to market their practice. They want to know how much money I can make them. They want to know how much money I make. They want to know, it seems to be all about business, at least when they're addressing me. This was a completely refreshing situation. I walked into this dinner party on Wednesday night. It was actually a cocktail party, I should say. On Wednesday night, just drove up from LA. I was stuck in traffic for like 3 hours. I was beat, but I went anyway. And people were coming up to me saying how much they appreciate this program and how much they learned from this show. No one was coming up to me and asking me, how many robots you think that I could help you, that you could help me sell? Or what do you think I should do to better market this product in my region? Everyone was asking me about, what I thought about what consumers were interested in, what I thought about the new iteration of the product, what I thought about was basically what was in the best interest of those who are reaching out to us through all of our resources. Like I thought I was being, for a second, I thought I was being punked, to tell you the truth, because I don't know if they were, if these people were like told, not to ask me anything about business and just concentrate on the consumer stuff. And I'm just joking about that. I think they were all very, very sincere. But what I did learn was, and I was at this function for about an hour and a half. Everyone was drinking, having a good time, and it was really, really nice, is that this company really wants to create a device that is going to help people. Not just trying to sell a machine. That's easy to do. Other companies have come to me and have offered me a significant amount of money just to say, hey, I give this machine the thumbs up and I could just walk away. These people have been picking my brain for months, and every suggestion that I have made, I'm going to get to my point in a second because I'm drinking, so it's going to take me a minute. Every suggestion that I have made, they have listened to. And you know what? Some of them they've implemented already. And it's been amazing. So I speak at this thing, and I'm at this, what I think is this incredibly professional conference. It was like really one of the most professional conferences I've ever been to. It wasn't like, you go to one of these conferences, it's like a Turkish bazaar with, people selling all kinds of shit all over the place. It was just a bunch of professionals doing their thing, learning about this technology, learning about the product, talking about their success stories, showing these incredible, this evolution of this device, which in 2011, when I was first introduced to it, I thought, even though I did the first live surgery with Dr. Jim Harris, I did not think it was going to go very far if they stuck to the original iteration. To me, the extraction sites were way too big. I just saw a lot of problems with the device. I could not recommend it at the time, but I thought it was interesting to do the first live surgery with Jim Harris, who of course helped to develop it and is a big proponent of it. But as I see things changing, I'm like, this seems to be working. They really seem to be developing something awesome. So I'm at this conference, I'm talking to these people, and again, it's like people are raising their hands, they're asking me questions. They want to know about the industry. They don't want to know about how to sell the product in the industry. They want to know about you guys. And they're asking about women. And this one woman raised her hand and she asked me what I think about, women in surgical hair restoration. And I told her that I really think very few women make great candidates. And they have to tell the doctors who are utilizing this device to really keep that in mind, because all you have to do is get one unhappy woman out there and she's going to destroy a guy's practice. And, if you kind of put that in the mindset of some of these doctors, maybe they won't operate on as many women. And these people got it. At other conferences, I have been told, like, well, how can we convert these women? It's not about converting these women. It's about turning these patients away because they're not good candidates for surgical hair restoration. Well, all I can say is that these guys got it. And there was a user meeting with all these doctors. They came actually the next day. And I didn't speak at that meeting, and I was actually, basically making my way out. After the conference, after my talk, we had some dinner, started drinking a little early. I have to tell you that I had a really good time, got pretty loaded. I think I saw Dr. Glenn Charles at the bar, but I can't remember. And if I did, I may have kissed him hello. So Dr. Charles, if you're watching, I apologize about that. But all I know is that I definitely had a good time because I woke up with one sock on, and I must have paid for the entire bar because that bar tab was just insane. But the reason I'm talking about this is because I was just so impressed by the entire experience. I was impressed that they really cared about what you guys wanted and what the industry wanted. And, they've been, courting me for a long time. We've been talking for a long time. And, I've been offered, a lot, to be honest with you. I've been offered equity in the company. I've been offered, a lot of opportunity. And I had to turn that down because I said that I cannot be attached to your company in that way. I cannot own a piece of the company. But if you want to pick my brain, I have no problem working on a consulting basis. You could have me talk at these conferences. You could have me educate your people. You can have your engineers, give me access to your engineers. So when you guys give me suggestions or you have complaints, I can contact them directly. So that's what I've decided to do. So I want to make this official announcement that I have decided to work with the Restoration Robotics on a consulting basis. Definitely not making a fortune from this. But what this allows me to do, it gives me access to them directly. I don't have to go through the doctors. And I'm hoping to help evolve this machine because I got to tell you, love it or hate it, it's getting in the hands of everybody. And my goal is to make sure that if it gets in the hands of doctors who are not doing surgical hair restoration, that the patients who see these doctors are coming away with a really good result. Because right now what's happening in the field is everyone's getting their hands on other devices. I'm not going to name them. And frankly, these are user-dependent devices. And in my view, people have been harmed. And I don't think it's intentional, but it's because these devices are so user-dependent. So I'm hoping that, and so far artists is coming to the table. I hope it continues. This is not a permanent situation at this point. I'm going to do my best to really help to evolve everything, the entire, the way that they do business with the physicians, the way that they market the product to you guys, letting people know that this is not a scarless procedure. I want all the bullshit taken out. And so far, they've been very receptive. If it continues, I will continue on, doing whatever I can to give them as much advice as I can on a consulting basis. But I just want to let you guys know that I have no equity in the company. I refuse that. I make no commissions on sales. I'm not selling any robots or any shit like that or surgeries. But I am pretty happy that they came to me and they asked me to speak. And they have enough respect for what we do here at the Bald Truth and through the American Hair Loss Association, and especially through the IHRS, to say, you know what, we want to do it right. And no one has ever done that. That's my State of the Union for this week. Phone number is 888-659-3727. I just got a text. Let me see who this came from, saying that our phone lines are busy. All right. Actually, that's Dr. Alan Bauman. I'm going to try to drop a line in a second to let him come through. So, Dr. Bauman, give me about 5 minutes. Call back. Hopefully, a line will be empty. Right now, let me see if I can pot up Joe Tillman. I think he's on the air. Joe, speak. Is that you? Joe, can you hear me?
No. Hello?
Hey, can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, man. Welcome.
Okay.
You finally got things working.
Well, I had to switch back to my old laptop. I got a Mac Pro.
I saw that, man. Mazel tov. Man,
Thank you.
You got a great wife, man.
Yeah, she's a keeper.
You know, my wife, she brings me a six-pack of Budweiser and just expects the best. And I am fine. I'm happy with that, actually.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No. Do you know, I told you, I got hammered at this conference. I actually really had a lot of fun. I kind of feel sorry for a couple of guys that I may have been speaking to because who knows what I was talking to them about. But this one guy came up to me, and I was ordering, they didn't have Jameson's. I was ordering Jack Daniels. And he came up to me, he's like, Jack Daniels? He looked at me like I had two heads. I'm like, and I drink Budweiser too, dude.
Well, because you're American.
You know, I'm a blue collar guy. This is what I'm used to. It's what I'm comfortable drinking. Do I have to change my brand of booze because I've somehow made it in this world? Is that how it works?
For some people, yeah. But no, Jack. I like Jack. It's a good staple.
You've been to my house. There's Jameson's, there's Jack, and there's Budweiser.
Yeah,
I think
lots of it.
Yeah, I think I may have had a Heineken when you were here.
You did have some Heine.
Yeah. But I drink Budweiser. What am I going to do? Everyone says it tastes like piss. I don't get that. To me, it's the best tasting beer. And they're not even advertising on the show. They should.
And you have no equity in the company.
I have no equity in the company. But I mean, what do you think about the fact that they invited me to speak at this thing? I was floored, man. I was like, these guys, they get it.
Well, I think my invitation got lost. No, just kidding.
That's next time.
This next time. No, I think that, well, look, we've talked about this many times. You've been giving them advice, guiding them to do the right thing, and they've been receptive. And they're continuing to show.
And that's why I'm going to take their money now, because it's about time. It's been months. So I'm doling out this advice.
Well, it was an investment on your part, right? No, but I mean, seriously, it shows that they are continuing to take strides to do the right thing. They want this to work, and like I said, we've been talking about this for quite a while. That, and like you said, no one's really stepped up to do this before. They come up with their product and they hire a marketing team to see, what the pulse of the buying public is, and
the marketing team comes to me. And they're like, okay, we have this much money, whatever. We have, $200,000 on our marketing budget to work with you for 3 years. And that's it. And they kind of break it down for me, what I would need to do. And I'm like, I'm not going to recommend your product. How do you know I'm going to recommend your product? And they look at me like I'm out of my mind, that I'm not going to take that money just to say that I recommend their product. I'm thinking, like, did you ever watch my show?
Yeah.
Say that?
Oh, it's like, wait a minute, that's not the memo we got. We were told you're going to recommend the product. And then they go scrambling back to their powers that be. You told us he's going to recommend the product. What? He's not. And
then all of a sudden you see some, like, I hate to say it, but some, like, has-been guy that's been around for 30 years endorsing their product. And it's just, I mean, you see that all the time. It's unfortunate. And I understand it. Look, the money's good. When someone offers you 7 figures to do something, it's hard to turn it down. But, I said this at the conference. I said, what most people don't get is, I mean, the reason I've survived is because I turned down that money. There's a lot more money to be made in good medicine than to try to make it in the short term selling bad medicine.
I agree.
And people don't get that.
They don't. They go for the easy dollar, and there are clinics out there, doctors out there that understand this.
I'm going to see a picture of you with, like, the laser comb next week.
I'm surprised there haven't been pictures already up like that. One of my colleagues in the industry, his photos were swiped for just such an advert in the UK. It was actually David.
That's right. I think you put that online, didn't you?
Yeah, he did. He did. Yeah. He posted up his David from Hassan Wong in the UK. His photos were swiped from his blog by some company, and they're promoting. I'm not sure if it's a laser comb or some sort of potion, but we all got a kick out of it. But
better than what they do to me. They remove my hair and put my photos everywhere.
What's funny is last time I was in Spain, I remember seeing Spain or Italy, I'm not sure which it was, but I was walking on the streets, and I saw
big bald picture of Spence.
No, I actually saw a bald picture of what's his name from Big Bang Theory, Sheldon.
Oh, really?
It was a before and after picture of Sheldon with his hair photoshopped off as a before picture.
Now I can see that maybe happening in, like, India, but not in Spain.
Yeah. No, it was actually Italy.
Italy.
Yeah, I think it was in Rome.
Well, look, we have a lot of phone calls. I know that Dr. Bauman is actually trying to get in, and I want to empty a line for him.
Yeah.
So let me take a phone call real quick. We'll drop a line, and then Dr. Bauman can call him, because I know that he doesn't have a lot of time. He had a very interesting meeting in New York this week, which we want to talk about.
We want to hear about that.
We definitely do. So let's see. Look at all these area codes. Let's see who this is. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this, and where are you calling from?
How you doing, Spencer? This is Mike from New York. You and I have talked a bunch of times. I had a kid a couple years ago, and talked to you about whether I was going to stay on Propecia or get off it.
Mike, I remember you, man. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Thanks for taking my call.
Oh, you got it. What's up?
Nothing. First of all, it's just so funny how I'm trying to stumble upon as you're talking how I found you, and it's funny. However many years ago it was, I think I was listening to the LIR or DRE on a Sunday night. Listened to.
I was on both. I think I was on both LIR and DRE at one point.
I'm listening to these great tunes, and all of a sudden I hear the Bald Truth. I go, what the hell is the Bald Truth, and what does this have to do with me?
That's what.
And of course, 20 years later, here I am.
You know, it's funny. People have said that to me before, and they think they're tripping or they're drunk, and they think the radio is talking to them because they're the only ones in the world thinking about hair loss.
Yeah, no, it's funny how it definitely fits me now. I don't want to take up a lot of your time because I know you're trying to get someone in, and I don't want to go.
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I don't want to go off too much off topic, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit about FUE.
Yeah.
And that type of stuff because I've been doing a lot of reading, and if you remember, I had gone and visited True and Doran,
right?
About 6 months ago, and really debating if it's something that I'm going to be doing, sometime in the near future. And for all the reading that I've been doing up, here's the one question that I've been having a hard time figuring out, and that is, what is the risk with FUE? I can't figure out what the risk is with FUE from everything that I've been reading outside of the fact that it's expensive.
So you just told me that you don't want to take up my time. I mean, there's a laundry list of risks with FUE, just like with any other type of cosmetic surgery. So don't let anybody tell you any differently, no matter what type, whatever they're doing, whether it's they're using a handheld device, motorized device, a manual device, or they're using a robotic device. It's cosmetic surgery. There's always a possible risk. So I know that if you're talking about Dr. Doran, I know that he is not currently using the ARTIS or the NeoGraft. He's using handheld devices, correct?
I think so, yeah. That's how it was about 6 months ago.
Yeah. I have to say that in general, he's doing a pretty good job. I don't know what the actual transection rate is, but let's break down what the issues are. And I wish actually Dr. Bauman was on the line because he could explain it to you as well. But when I have him on, maybe we can touch on it. And obviously Joe Tillman knows a great deal about this. Basic risks, risk of transection. It's basically a blind procedure. So guys are going in above the scalp. They're not dissecting. They're not taking the tissue out of the scalp and dissecting it in a three-dimensional way under a microscope. So they have to go in there, in essence, blindly, and kind of feel around to make sure that they're getting the entire follicular unit into that punch. And then once the skin is scored, the punch is then pulled out using forceps. There's a whole host of possible ways to damage the graft. Now, if the clinic is really good at it, and if the doctor is really good at it, then the possible risk of damage is relatively small, but there's still a risk. There are some clinics that are using punches that are, in my view, are way too big, so there could be a lot of collateral damage. There could be more fibrotic, more scarring than you would get from smaller punches. So in essence, even though you're not getting a linear scar, say you take out 2,000 scars across the back, if they're using punches that are too big, you have this confluence of scarring that could be an issue. If the grafts happen to be damaged in some way and they're implanted into your scalp, those grafts may not grow in a robust fashion, or they may not grow at all. So there are anything else, Joe? What do you got?
Well, I was just thinking about the last thing that you were touching on with the way that they can grow. When you damage a graft for whatever reason, for some reason they're very fragile during this process, and so if a graft is damaged, like Spencer was saying, it may not grow well, and the indicator for that is when it starts to grow. It grows, like say you have fine straight hair, it might start growing coarse and kind of kinky, kind of curly, and that can lead to aesthetic issues, right? And that's with any procedure. It's not exclusive to FUE, but you do have the potential for that happening with FUE that more so than you would with a proper FUT procedure. And this isn't about a FUT versus FUE issue. It's just matter of fact. So yeah, there is that, and then of course you do have the issue of actually killing the grafts, and it's fairly easy to do that. So you need to find a doctor that does have the experience of working with this tissue, and not just with the tissue, but also different types of hair, because different types of hair will react differently to the procedure.
Right.
Like say Asian hair. Asian hair is extremely delicate, and I've seen cases where just extracting the hair and sticking it, holding it between a pair of forceps, the follicle the hair shaft itself can literally explode.
And in general, there's more of a larger hair shaft diameter, so usually you can have to use a slightly larger punch.
Yeah, that's true too. And there's so many issues that come with different types of hair and skin types, and a lot of variables that have to be considered. But ultimately, the number one thing you need to do is first, do you really think that surgery is necessary? Always ask yourself that. Can you get by without it? Because if you can, then do. But if you can't get by without surgery, without doing something, then you need to find a clinic that has a consistency with various types of hair, various types of skin types, and they'll be able to put you in a position where you'll have less issues as far as recovery, have less issues as far as growth, and a higher percentage or a higher probability of satisfaction.
And that's well said. And in all honesty, and you just have to be candid with the doctor. How many patients like me have you worked on, using the FUE procedure? Listen, True and Dorn are both recommended surgeons. They have a tremendous track record. They've been doing strip for a very long time. They've also been, they've embraced FUE. And I've seen some incredible results. And now, I haven't seen any of their FUE results in person. I've seen some really good results online. I know that Dr. Dorn is really concentrating more on FUE. So I'm sure if he says he can help you, he can. But you have to be prepared, always be prepared for the worst with any surgery. So, you asked an interesting question, like, what are the downsides? There's a lot of downsides, dude. It's surgery.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because, like I said, as you read up on it, and you talk to people, it seems less drastic and dramatic than.
Well, listen, they're not cutting a strip of tissue of scalp out of your head. There's no sutures. There's very little chance of any type of nerve damage. There's a greater risk of complication when it comes to strip surgery, in my view, than when it comes to a well-done FUE or even a not-so-well-done FUE. Healing time is shorter. You can certainly, in most cases, cut your hair shorter. So there's a lot of advantages. One disadvantage that I see is that if you need a tremendous amount of hair, in my view, and Dr. Bauman may disagree, and when he gets on the air, I want to talk to him about this, I still don't believe you can get 100% of that sweet spot of DHT-resistant hair unless you eventually take out a strip. But with that said, I don't think that should be anybody's first move, especially a young guy. FUE gives you the opportunity to stop and say, you know what, maybe this isn't for me. Or even if you continue for a few sessions, you're still going to be able to walk around in time as though you had really little done and not have to worry about the healing process. Joe, you've been through both procedures.
Yeah. Well, first off, I was thinking about what you said with the number of hairs that could be moved. I'm a walking example of the extreme of what you can get out of strip, where I've had basically 10,000 grafts over, 7 surgeries. And you don't really see that with FUE. Are there high volume cases or high number cases like mine? Yes, there are, but they're extremely rare, and they're on patients that have very high donor density that allows the higher numbers to be extracted without having a visible deficit as far as the donor zone goes. I've had FUE and body hair. I mean, I've had pretty much all the procedures out there, and I think that what you need to do is, you need to look at what your bottom line is, what you're hoping to achieve, and are you looking for a long-term solution? Are you looking for a large area of coverage? I know nothing about your case, so forgive me, but like Spencer said, it makes a lot of sense to start off with a smaller procedure of FUE and see where that takes you. And one thing he was saying is that if you decide to just cut your losses because you're not happy with it, it's not growing well, whatever, like he said, you don't have really so much of a visual indicator that much has been done.
That's right.
Whereas with a strip, the best strip, and I've had the best strip, I love, and make no mistake, I love the work I've had done. It has changed my life beyond anything I could ever imagine. But if I were to go too short with my hair, that strip scar would be visible no matter how well it's done, and people would notice it. With FUE, people don't really tune into that. It's not so much of an understandable issue that people can recognize. If you see someone walking around with a thinned out donor zone or some FUE scarring, people they're not drawn to that with their eye.
They really have no idea what's going on. Listen, there's no doubt in my mind. I'm one of the hugest proponents of FUE. I'm not going to go on to the whole boring story with Woods and what we did back in late 1999, but with any surgery, and I even said this at the conference, I'm not going to sell any surgery. My goal is to tell people, listen, surgery is a last resort. It's there for you if you really need it. I think I remember your situation that you were on Propecia, you wanted to have a kid, you got off the drug, you lost ground, and then you were considering getting back on, or you got back on. What was the story again?
I was considering it, but I had said if I'd read what I had read after I was on it, I probably would have gone on it in the first place.
Right.
But that's a whole other issue that we covered off on before.
And I think you remember me telling you, if you're not going to continue on with finasteride, even going for surgical hair restoration could be a mistake because, hair loss is progressive. We don't know where you're going to end.
Yes.
The process can just continue to the point where, okay, I need more supply to meet the demand, and then you keep having to go in for more procedures. And even if you have all the money in the world, eventually you're going to run out of hair. Mm-hmm. So I don't mean to bum you out, dude. We just want to be honest on this program.
No, I totally get it. All those things crossed my mind, and we talked about it, and again, I'm still playing around with it, so haven't done anything yet. I'll ask you one more quick question. And I don't know if you can answer this, but I went to your site and I saw the list of doctors that you recommend.
Right.
From an FUE perspective, is there any person that you'd say, hey, Jeff, Jeff, before you go out and do this, make sure you see this person?
I would definitely say, and he's actually calling to the show, I would definitely have a consult with Dr. Alan Bauman. I would definitely, no doubt, have a consult and give John Cole a call. He's a very straightforward person. He may say some things that you're not used to hearing, but he's excellent at what he does. And he's a real pioneer. I would say Alan Feller I actually just spoke to him today, and he was doing an FUE case today. He is great at what he does, for sure. So those are all guys. And you're in New York, right? So, I would definitely say go see Dr. Feller in New York and get an opinion from him. And you can probably do something online with Dr. Bauman and with Dr. Cole. And if I'm forgetting anybody, please forgive me. There's Bill Yates in Chicago, but these are the first names that come
at least
mind.
Exhaust your New York options, where you also have Bernstein.
Oh yeah. Jesus,
Feller.
Bernstein. Good. You can check out Bernstein. Bernstein's using the robot. That may be something that you're comfortable with, and he's actually one of the guys that's using the smaller punches on the robot. So that's a consideration. He's a very straightforward guy. He'll tell you if you're not a candidate.
He'll turn you down faster than a lot of guys.
Yeah,
for sure.
He'll be the first to turn you down. So I would say, check out this. I'm glad you mentioned Bernstein. So check out Bernstein and Feller and have a consultation for sure. And you could always do something online with the other guys.
Okay, great, and congrats on the conference, and looking forward to listening to the rest of the show.
All right, man. Listen, thanks. Good luck, and I know you sound a little down. I wish I could have given you okay, there's no risk, but that's just not the truth.
No, I got a sleepy baby, so.
All right, man. All right.
Thanks for calling.
Take it easy. Okay. 888-659-3727 is the toll-free number. That's 888-659-3727. Give us a call. Dr. B, try to get in if you can. I really apologize. We have a full board, and let me try to whittle these down. Let's see who this is. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this, and where are you calling from?
Hi.
Hi.
This is Spencer, right?
This is Spencer. Yeah, you're on the air, man. What's happening?
So I'll just give you a little background.
First of all, tell me your name and where you're calling from. It doesn't have to be your real name.
Okay. Well, my real name is Mason. I'm from Texas.
Okay, welcome, Mason.
So I'm 22. Back in June, I I cut my hair. My hair used to be real long. I always had like a fringe. And then when I cut it, I noticed, my hairline was receding. My hair was also thinning out, just telling by the amount of hair I was had on my hands in the shower and stuff like that. So I scheduled an appointment with my dermatologist. He gave me 5 milligram Proscar, and I was just cutting that into quarters. And I was using it for 3.5 months.
Okay.
And no problems at all. And then, lo and behold, I noticed that.
Did you read about it, or did you just notice something on your own?
It was on my own.
Okay.
I mean, I knew about it prior to that, but.
All right. Well, tell me what happened.
So it was basically gyno. I actually felt it started on my left side. It was directly underneath the nipple.
Well,
it was a little lump.
Well, that's a very. I mean, that is actually one of the side effects. While rare, we hear a lot of over the years. So it's you're not going to have imaginary gyno.
Right. So I got off of it, and it seemed to be. It wasn't progressing. It kind of stopped. So I got back on it. This was probably maybe a month after I stopped.
Yeah.
And then the right side started going, and that one got inflated pretty quickly. There was legitimate lumps, I could feel them, and they were a little bit sensitive. So that was probably back in September, October.
So when you got off the drug, did the gyno dissipate? Did you go back to normal?
Yeah. So now it's completely gone now.
Okay.
The right side lasted the longest, but it's completely gone. So I was just basically calling to get some advice to see where I should go next. Should I get back on it, lessen the dose, or am I pretty much out of options?
That's a tough call. And again, you know that we are not doctors here.
Correct.
So what I'm going to do is we actually have a doctor on the line, and I'm going to see if I can make sure that I don't hang up on you. Let me make sure that I don't hang up on you before I take Dr. Bauman, and I could hook you guys up. Hold on for 1 sec. Okay, you are there. Let's see if this is Dr. B. Dr. B, is that you?
Spencer, how are you?
Hey, how are you, man?
Hey.
I wanted to take you now because we have a caller, if you were able to hear it, who has been suffering with gynecomastia from Propecia, and it's dissipated. It's gone away since he stopped using it again, but obviously he wants to know what his options are.
Well, yeah, there are definitely a few options. First of all, that's a pretty rare side effect. I'm sure you already covered that.
Yeah.
But, he's got lots of options. There's topical medications like minoxidil. You could go on a compounded version of minoxidil. You could be on low-level laser therapy. You could do PRP treatments. And depending on the length of his hair, we would do some measurements and tracking and, chit-chat about some of those options.
Now,
I was
you
actually...
got to get on something. I mean, you got to get on some kind of preventative regimen.
Right.
Right. I was on minoxidil, too, when I started Finasteride. When I started getting the gyno, I just dropped everything. I just said, screw it.
Yeah. And
well, sure, that could be concerning, right? And it's like, oh, my God, this is, what's happening, right?
Yeah, but I mean, not pretty much every dude in my family is bald, pretty much. So, as much as it concerns me, the way they're living their lives, there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, and I'm glad that you said that. I mean, so obviously everyone in your family is they've adjusted and they're having good lives, right?
Yeah, my brother, who he was pretty much bald by 21, he's still with all kinds of girls.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, that's the thing. If you are able to deal with it and you're equipped to deal with it, and you see your brother who's dealing with it well, and you think you can be the same type of guy, then there's no need to do anything. I mean, that's really your best option. But if you really want to do something, I think obviously Dr. Bauman gave you some really good advice. I personally would not. Once I get gyno, man, and it's possible I have it. I think I have old age gyno at this point. But I mean, honestly, once you get that, I mean, even if you cut down the dosage and kind of play with it, I mean, I don't know, Doc. I mean, do you think he can cut his dose in half and give it a shot?
Well, that is certainly an option. I mean, if he's not afraid and he's monitoring himself, he's going to know right away, whether something's going on.
Right.
So why not? I mean, a little bit of finasteride is better than none,
right,
in my opinion. If you're trying to slow or stop the hair loss process, look, if you're on, the bottom line is that if you're on less than 1 milligram a day, so you're taking it every other day or something, then you're going to need to be on another type of therapy anyway.
Right.
So you've got to look at multi-therapy approach to really conquer it. I mean, it's, you're a young guy. It's going to be a tough battle anyhow. You just got to be ready to fight the fight, or, raise a white flag, whatever suits you. I mean, that's how we talk to patients in my practice. Is this the right thing for you? And we do a lot of chit-chatting before we figure out what the treatment plan is.
And I got a question. Joe Tillman here. How you doing, Dr. Bauman? Good to have you on.
Hey, Joe. How are you, man?
I'm good. To the caller, you said that the rest of the males in your family have adjusted and learned to cope with this. Have they all started shaving their heads, or how are they dealing with it?
No, I think my dad's probably like the Norwood 6. My uncle's, one of my uncles on my dad's side of the family is probably like the 5. My brother's completely bald, 22. My cousin is younger than me. He's already probably, I don't know, maybe a 3. He's receding pretty badly. I probably kept my hair the longest in the family, but still going.
Are they shaving their heads to deal with this, or are they just kind of letting it go?
My brother, he's a bodybuilder. He shaves it, but
okay.
Everyone else kind of just keeps it short and moves on.
Well, it's interesting because I was your age. I'm 45 now. I was your age when I first started dealing with my hair loss, which it wasn't my idea. I just went in with a friend for a consultation, and I wound up having 2 surgeries.
I mean, you have such a crazy story that you were basically talked into it.
Yeah. That's another conversation. But the gist of it is, caller, that I mean, I was talked into having surgery by the doctor, and that kind of set my life before me as I've lived it since. And I can tell you, as someone who's been in the exact same position as you, surgically and with hair loss, I didn't have adverse side effects of the medication, but I can tell you that it is in your best interest to seriously consider doing what your brother did, dealing with it.
Yeah.
Just accept it, because I'm here to tell you that I have seen so many guys in my career, just as a patient and then professionally working in the industry for 11 years, I've seen so many guys that have embraced it, and not so much like embraced it and they're proud. Hey, look at me, I'm bald and I'm proud, but more like, hey, you know what? I'm no different than tens or hundreds of millions of other guys out there, and it's not a big deal, because honestly, when you look at it, how many people do you see on a daily basis that are bald? They're everywhere, and and sometimes you'll see them with hot women, driving nice cars. It's not affecting them, right? So I'm here to tell you that the side effects are bad, but you don't have to keep going down this road and finding a solution to fight this, because sometimes it'll just drive you crazy.
Well, honestly, the best solution is, like Dr. Bauman said, in my view, is to wave the white flag and move on if you can. I'm not one of those guys. You should have seen the chicks at this meeting when I actually said that I painted my bald spot. It was like when my mother found out that Burt Reynolds was wearing a wig. I never forget the look on her face. I mean, she was mortified. So I mean, that's what I have to deal with. So it's no fun. And listen, and I consider myself very lucky because I've done well on medication for all these years. So if you can move on with your life and you seem like you might be able to, then that's the best bet. If you want to continue to try, I think Dr. Bauman's suggestion is a good one.
I agree.
There's nothing wrong with, considering, if you're willing to really watch it and you're not afraid to do it, lowering your dosage. And again, I'm not a physician, but lowering your dosage of finasteride, maybe taking it every other day or splitting the 1 milligram dose, seeing if you get any adverse reaction from that, and adding a topical.
Okay. And the only thing is, like balding, I mean, even though I was getting gyno, and I'm pretty sure anyone who looked at me wouldn't be able to tell, but, I could feel it. I noticed it, but
sure.
Even then, I don't know how far it's going to progress. That's the only reason I stopped, because I don't want to grow full-blown C-cups, but
Oh, dude, man, let me tell you something. You can't. There's no trade-off. That's not a trade-off.
No,
it really isn't. I mean, you don't want to have to deal with that. And I know there's gynecomastia surgery, and but I'm assuming, and I'm not a physician, doc. I mean, once he gets gyno from finasteride, if he continues, even if he did decide to do something surgically, it can continue, right? He can continue to grow more masses, right?
It can, yeah. It can continue to grow because even gynecomastia surgery, it maybe doesn't remove all of the breast tissue, so you could still have some residual that continues to expand.
Yeah.
It's honestly it's pretty rare, but yes, it can happen.
Yeah.
As I said, you're going to take out some of the tissue, but you can't get all of it in one fell swoop. So gynecomastia could potentially continue. Not that we want to fix, a side effect from a medication with a surgery.
Right.
I mean, that's not necessarily the best option for everybody, right? So you have to.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it really, and obviously, it always depends on how desperate these guys are. I've had guys who've called me who were actually this one guy early on in my career, who I spoke with. He called the radio station after the show, and he was going through psychological evaluation to basically have what is it, an autodectomy? Is that what it's called when you basically are castrated? So he was considering having his balls cut off because of his hair. All right, so that's one end of the spectrum.
I think Otto would indicate that he was going to do it himself.
That's almost Joe from Staten Island status. So, and on that note, we're going to talk about a very interesting meeting that Dr. Bauman had with Joe. Listen, I hope we were able to answer your questions, man.
No. Thank you.
Okay, you got it. And best of luck. Let us know what you decide to do.
All right, I will.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Take it easy. 888-659-3727. I just hung up on Alan Bauman, and he's been trying to get on. Holy cow. Hold on, let me make sure he's on. Sorry, dude. Call back. Call back now. That's what happens when I have two guys potted up at the same time. All right, I'm going to hang up another line. Okay, let's see if this is him. All right, that is him. Okay. I am so sorry, Dr. Bauman.
Yeah, go ahead. Just hang up on me. No problem.
I still don't have this phone thing figured out. It's like I'm like the guy with the cymbals between his knees. I should have like a harmonica on. So anyway,
I heard you ranting about your one-man band. Doing the intro.
That's what I do. So, all right. So listen.
Yeah, not that I want to complain, but what's going on with all the ads on Ustream? I mean, I tuned in on my laptop first, and
don't tell Andrew Zarian this, but you can get an ad blocker.
I did.
Yeah. The guy's trying to make a couple of bucks from the show. What am I going to do? Let him make some money.
Oh man. I didn't have that. I didn't have that info, but thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll send you a link. So,
okay, that would be great.
Yeah, I know it's a real pain in the butt. But anyway,
They interrupt the whole show, and you don't even know you're being interrupted.
I know, and just so you know, I am making no money from those ads that are being played on Ustream. It's all going to Andrew's, the GFQ network. So, I want them to make some money from the show.
Good. Well, then he, deserves to take you out for dinner next time.
Absolutely. So, all right. So, listen. You had a very interesting meeting with a Ball Truth celebrity.
It was very interesting, and I definitely felt like I was meeting a celebrity.
You got
no
all right.
question about it.
First of all, you sent me this picture. It looked like an ISIS photo. I mean, I didn't know if someone had a knife to your back. It was frightening. I mean, Joe had like this his entire all this New York City cop paraphernalia on.
Oh my God!
Yeah, so he was head to toe NYPD.
Right.
Well, if I remember correctly, he wanted to make sure you felt safe.
That's true.
Yeah. The good thing he was wearing, I think he was wearing NYPD socks and a hat to boot. So he was fully decked.
And I've seen him in sweatpants before, and he normally wears them pretty high up, or his shorts, probably a little above the belly button.
Yes, I would say about 2 inches above the belly button, somewhere between there and just under the rib cage. But he's a fashion icon, so he can get away with that.
That's true.
I mean, that's fun.
He can make it work.
That look is coming back.
It is. It is.
Well, because he's bringing it back.
It's a big, it's the Joe from Staten Island look. So, all right. So tell me about, let's talk about how this whole thing transpired.
Okay. Well, as you know, obviously been a long time listener to the show and participating in the show and listening to Joe forever.
Right.
Since the beginning. And of course, offline, we had a conversation and, first of all, for your listeners, Joe has given me permission to tell you this story, obviously, and if he's on the line, maybe he could elaborate more.
I don't see him on the line. He didn't even contact me today.
Oh, okay. I did shoot him. I did talk to him earlier. I told him I was going to be on.
Okay, good.
He might be listening. But the point is that we spoke over the phone, and he was very interested in starting some non-invasive treatments. And I said, well, listen, I don't feel very comfortable unless I can really examine you and see you in person. That's, what I try to explain to, to my patients when we do a long-distance consultation. And he's like, well, listen, I really want to get started on the laser. Can't you just send it to me? And I said, well, hey, you know what? I'm going to be up in New York teaching a class in February. Let me bring it to you.
I know that made him feel very uncomfortable initially.
Yes. So he was extremely uncomfortable about that. And we decided to meet in a neutral location in Switzerland. No, in a neutral location in New York City, which was close to my hotel. And that's where I got a chance to meet Joe from Staten Island in person. And it was great. We had a great time. And I brought an assistant, my bodyguard.
Right. That was a good plan.
Good move.
Liz, my director of patient education, I don't know if she's listening tonight. But,
like when you sent me that image, I thought my first thought is this is the last image he's ever going to send.
No, Joe's a great guy. He's a great guy. But that would be my last message to anyone on the podcast. You wouldn't see me again?
That scared me. I was a little scared. I mean, you looked terrified. No, actually, you had a big smile on your face, and Joe looked good too.
We were having a good time, and I think Liz was trying to get him to smile bigger and bigger and bigger each time. We took a couple of different photos, and then he tried on a couple of different hats.
So that gold chain around his neck was like weighing him down. I saw that.
Yeah, he was definitely blinged out. There's a lot of bling going on there, but that's the Staten Island thing. I can understand that.
That's true.
Born and raised in Jersey, so see that, and the matching, sweatpants and outfit,
Oh God, man! I wish I can show that picture to people, but obviously I would not do that to Joe.
Right. So then we'll have to ask Joe's permission. Maybe if we just blur out the face.
Yeah, that would be great, actually.
Then people will see the NYPD shirt and hat.
I'd love to see that.
All
But,
right, so you walk in to the room and you shake Joe's hand. Did he hug you? Was it a?
Well, first he says, can I call him from the lobby? And he says, well, I'm going to meet you out in the hall. So I take the elevator up. So we're walking down the hall, and the hall is very long. I mean, it's one of the major hotels,
right?
And so it seems like it's a mile away, and I can see because the way the lights were. All I can see is that there's a figure at the end of the hallway. And it just seemed like no matter how much I kept walking towards it, it just seemed like it was endless. It just kept getting farther and farther away. It was like a scene from a movie or something. And so then he shouts out in his very recognizable voice, Dr. B, do I look how you pictured me or something like that? I'm like, Joe, I can't even see you at all from this distance. I think I have pretty good eyesight. I'm like, I got to get a little bit closer or stand in front of the light or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, we shook hands and hugged and.
So I mean, was he what you envisioned? Because most people think he's much heavier.
Yes, and so I will tell everyone that Joe is a very skinny guy.
Yeah,
which is interesting because he has a very deep voice.
Right.
And
I never would have guessed.
So you would think he was just kind of lounging around the couch or something like that in a large way, and it's certainly not like that. In fact, as we were leaving, he was on his way to the gym.
It's pretty amazing.
To go work out. Yeah. So, and then of course we were chit chatting about the show and just kind of reminiscing some of the things that we'd been involved with through the Bald Truth over the years. And, basically I just got kind of the re-download of his story. It's been through a lot of surgeries and a lot of procedures over the years.
Now, did he give you permission to talk about his condition?
Well, yes. I mean, I told him that, we would be speaking on the air and that we'd be talking about it. And, I was kind of hoping that he would be on the air to kind of talk about his current situation.
I would love, let me see. I don't see him on the air.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the bottom line is that, he's had multiple procedures. Really, his head is a textbook of the history of hair transplants.
Right.
For lack of a better way to explain it. And but the good news is that he's got some hair growing on the top of his scalp, which I felt could be improved with some non-invasive therapies. And so I did recommend a multi-therapy approach to try to get that hair growing well. His donor area has been pretty depleted over time, but there's certainly some hair left in that zone. And we did a full examination of his beard. He's got lots of beard hair. So, really the ball is in Joe's court in terms of what he wants to do and how he wants to proceed.
So he's considering, because initially he wanted you, I mean, his whole thing was he wanted that laser cap. And then he contacted me initially, and I told him that we could make this happen, but you wanted to see him. Then he refused it, and he was upset, and he quit the show. It was a whole thing.
I didn't know he quit the show over that.
Apparently, he officially quit the show. He had Dave Artista call in and read a statement that he emailed Dave about quitting the show. All over the laser, all because of the laser cap. So now he's going. He wants to go past the non-invasive therapy. He's considering surgery.
Well, yeah, I would say he's considering it. What I would really like for him to do is to be on the non-invasives for some time and to try to get some improvement in the quality and quantity of hair that he has in both areas. The areas that he's had previous surgery and even his donor area could use a little bit of help in terms of quality and quantity.
Right.
And what I've seen, in my practice is that patients who have had multiple procedures, especially the old style work, and they have extensive hair loss, they can really benefit from, for example, the topical and laser light therapy to improve the quality of the hair, even just turning on a lot of the telogen hairs into anagen in the donor area, making the harvest more robust and more fruitful as we go through that area.
It's interesting because, I know that he saw a couple of other doctors, and there's one doctor in New York who did say that he felt that he can help him, surgically. Mm-hmm. And, so there's definitely, I definitely think there's hope for Joe. And you just made a good point. If, in fact, you can somehow make the donor area more robust, and I know that he's also said to me that he's got a lot of beard hair and chest hair. And I mean, will you be able to utilize any of that?
I will tell you that he showed me his chest hair like 8 different times within the short period of time that I was in.
I think he just wants to show you his chest. Actually,
he pulled down his pants to show you the chest.
No, we didn't go that. Wait, is this the Howard Stern show? No, we didn't quite go that far. But he did ask about it actually. But I think the beard is going to be the best place for him to try to achieve a little bit more density up on top. When donor area is exhausted or limited, then we have to go to alternative sources. And so, in my opinion, the beard hair seems to grow the best on the scalp. And it appears from the beard that he grew to show me that it would be a pretty close match to what he has up there. And that's really the main concern, right? Because you don't want the beard hair.
That's right.
A dramatic difference between the scalp hair that he has.
Well, I know that he has gray hair or white hair at this point. He used to dye it. I don't know if is he dyeing it now or no?
No.
Okay. So, I mean, it seems to me like he would make a really good candidate because obviously you need, you're not dealing with as much of a contrast between the scalp and the hair when you have white hair. And it seems like, at this stage in his life, maybe he would really make a great repair candidate.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would, I think the process would work very well for him. And, it's not something that's going to be simple and easy. And, I think Joe realizes that, he's not going to have a teenager head of hair from this. But,
but Doc, you got to think, are you willing to take this on? I'm not saying that you can't do it because I know that you can, but are you willing to take on Joe from Staten Island? You're willing to take on that personality if things don't go well?
Or if they do go well?
Yeah, I mean, well...
or even if they do go well, exactly.
That's a judgment call, right, that I have to make every single day with every single patient. So, I would say that, if I didn't feel comfortable with a patient and his idea and my understanding his understanding of my plan and so forth and working together, then, we don't move forward with surgery. I mean, that's just the way that it is.
Right.
But I felt, at this point, I felt very comfortable presenting a very conservative plan that would probably take several sessions to accomplish.
No.
That would moderately improve his situation, not like I say, turn him into a hair model. But, if he's interested, this is something that...
I can tell you, the worst thing that will happen is he will have Dave Artista read a statement on the air. I think that's the worst thing.
If you already quit the show, then,
this is what I want to do. The numbers that are coming up on my caller ID are kind of like odd. Maybe Joe is on the air. So I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to put you on hold. I will screen some calls and see if Joe is there. And I want to take a break anyway. And if he's not, we'll continue on, finish the conversation about Joe. You were meeting with Joe from Staten Island. And then that's it. I hope he does call in, though, because I want to hear his side of things. All right, Doc?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. No problem. I'm hanging.
Okay, cool. Guys, we're going to take, Joe, you hold on to you. Guys, we're going to take a quick break. 888-659-3727. That is 888-659-3727. Let me make sure that I'm putting Dr. B on hold. He is on hold. You are listening to and watching The Bald Truth. Give us a call if you have any questions or concerns about your hair loss. We are absolutely here to help. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
The winner of 7 prestigious Golden Forehead Awards.
My family's always arguing. It always starts off innocent and then it gets vicious right away. So I was like, hey, looks like you're losing some hair. At least my wife's not a whore.
Spencer David Kobren.
Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for hanging out. 888-659-3727. Come on, who listens to a bald show if they don't have a shred of hair loss? I don't get that. I appreciate it. It's very cool, and I know that people do. And we do have these bizarre groupies, and they're female groupies. Besides a long time ago when Dave was on the program. They write us all the time. It's a wild phenomenon, but they dig the show, so that's very cool. 888-659-3727. Actually, Joe from Staten Island is on the line, so I am going to first. Let's see if I could pot up. Hold on, let me pot up. Gee, I got so many people to pot up. Okay, I'm potting up Joe Tillman. Hey, Joe, you there?
I am here.
All right, let's see if I can get Alan Bauman going with Joe. Here you go. Hey, guys, you are both on the air. Joe.
How are you, Dr. Bauman?
Joe.
Hey, how are you?
Thank you very much for that special house call you made. I really appreciate it. You and your assistant, Liz.
Joe, by the way, I kind of promised that I wouldn't play this again, but here we go.
My name is
Joe from Staten Island.
My name is. Excuse me. My name is.
Would you like to reiterate it?
My name is.
Have you heard it? Excuse me.
My name is.
Joe from Staten Island.
I mean, after you so rudely quit the program the way that you did, and the nastiness of it all, I just said I'm never playing that opening again. But it's a special occasion.
Special occasion.
So we'll do it.
That was a misunderstanding. That's all it was with Dave. I apologize to Dave Artista. It was a misunderstanding. That's all it was.
You apologize to him?
Not to Dave Artista. It was a misunderstanding.
I'm just going to file that one away. You guys, let's tell the story.
Now, I met Dr. Bauman. He's very nice, and Liz, his staff member, came to my room. And Dr. Bauman, we had a little chit chat. Then he examined me. I had everything all set up, right, Doc? I had the combs, the mirror, the light, the chair, just like an office.
So what did you do? You rented a room for this occasion?
I stayed at a hotel. I was entertaining the guests later in the evening.
Okay, so you didn't, but basically you didn't want Dr. B to come to your house because of, the whole family thing and your kids and your wife and all that.
No, I was in the city on business, and I had a hotel which is in 2 blocks of Dr. Bauman.
On business? What do you do? You're retired. You get a pension. What kind of business?
No. He said I was there on business.
Oh, I know that you were. I know Dr. B was there on business, but you weren't there on business, Joe.
Well, my business was to meet Dr. Bauman.
Okay.
My business.
All right.
Yes, he's a very charming and very, handsome and affable gentleman. So I don't want to take too much time. The bottom line is I had the room all set up, right, Doc? Like an office?
Absolutely.
Room,
it was amazing. I didn't have to bring any equipment.
He had like he brought his own densitometer. It was incredible.
Could have done surgery right there.
No, I had a big chair. I had
the neograph. We would have been ready to roll.
And then the doctor examined my donor area and my beard area. Now, what exactly did you say about my donor area again, Doc? You tell the audience, you have my permission. I waive all HIPAA rights. You could tell them what you thought of my donor area, what you thought of the prospects.
Well, just exactly what I told you is that it was, somewhat depleted. You had some scar tissue there, but I felt that there was some hair, definitely some hair that could be harvested. Maybe even thousands of grafts over time.
Right.
So I felt
very
comfortable telling you that.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Doctor?
He said he felt very comfortable telling you that.
No, I don't have unrealistic expectations. I'm a realistic person.
So, I didn't know that. I mean, you had contacted me. You said you wanted the laser cap, and you were interested in Dr. Bauman's minoxidil solution, which is the 84M, right? Is that what you call it? 82M. I screwed that one up. 82M. I'll edit that out. So, and that's all you asked me about. You didn't even indicate that you were interested in surgery.
Well, once I met Dr. Bauman, he's a person I really trusted. I just felt the connection to him.
Well, I mean, you basically have known Dr. Bauman for years through the broadcast.
Well, I never met him. I instantly felt the connection to this guy, this man.
Well, he's a pretty easy guy to like. But I mean, that's still. I mean, and obviously he's trustable and he's been recommended by us for years. But I mean, you're still. From what you've told me over the years, you told me you would not be happy unless you get a full head of hair.
No, but now I'll be happy with some, modest improvement, which the doctor said I would get.
Well, I think that's great to hear. I think that you've really come a long way, dude.
I like hearing that myself because we've had this conversation before where you looked at me and said, like my own result, you're like, that's a very nice result, but it's not a full head of hair because that's what your ultimate goal has been. So it's very refreshing to hear you say that you'd be happy with an improvement.
Well, I've changed my attitude. I don't know, Dr. Bauman, he just really encouraged me and just made me happy.
So you're gonna go for it?
I'm definitely taking Amtrak. I already spoke to the doctor on the phone.
Are we going to do a live surgery on the air?
Let's get carried away now.
I mean, that would be awesome, man. You know how many viewers we would get? You know how many people want to see Joe from Staten Island? We'd break the internet.
Well, I don't know about that, but I want the doctor to concentrate, on my surgery, not on the thing of people watching it. And the caller's calling in. He may break a few follicles there.
Look, he knows the guy. This guy can do this blindfolded. He knows what he's doing. He's done so many live surgeries.
We invented live surgery.
That's right. We did the first live hair transplant surgery. Me and Dr. B.
Well, maybe the second surgery. How does that sound? There will be multiple surgeries involved. The doc's at least 2 or 3.
All right. Well, at the very least, let him have a camera in there to record it. He doesn't have to speak.
Will my face be covered?
We'll figure it out. We'll get you like a Freddy Krueger mask or something.
I want the doctor to concentrate on what he's doing. That's what I really want. And then,
Listen, I completely respect that. I'm just trying to make something out of this. This is a show. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do
I
here.
understand that, but also I want to talk about the laser cap.
All right.
The doctor brought me. This laser cap has so many diodes in it. Actually, I'm sitting under it now. I can feel my scalp tingling. This thing is so powerful. It's the greatest thing on the market. It's more expensive than anything on the market. That's true.
That's true.
But you pay for what you get for it. And this thing has multiple diodes, doctor. Am I correct?
Like the laser cap is 224 diodes.
Now, is this the one that actually is a cap you can wear under like a baseball cap or like battery powder? Because there's several different. I'm not familiar with the model that Joe has now. Which one is this?
So he's got the original laser cap by the inventor, Dr. Rabin, and that's the device that we routinely use in the office. And that is the device that right now is in clinical trials. We're doing a double-blind randomized clinical trial with the laser cap, doing densitometry measurements, tattooing the whole 9 yards. Mm-hmm. And even though, Joe is not in that study, we were able to get him a laser cap.
Now, Joe, are you wearing it under your NYPD cap or your normal white cap? What are you doing?
No, Dr. Bauman gave me a Bauman Medical Group cap. I'm wearing it right now.
Dude, what's the point of not having you on Skype with that? I mean, come on, it's ridiculous. It's perfect.
It always works better under the Bauman cap.
Yeah,
the patient.
That's what I tell patients too.
No, but
does Dr. Bauman send you a picture of me under the Bauman cap?
No, I got a picture of you with your NYPD whole outfit on, which was awesome.
Well, there's also one with the Bauman cap.
Well, if you give him permission, I'm sure he'll send that to me as well.
He has my permission.
I know that you guys had called me together when he sent me the photo, so I mean that was a whole thing. You left a message.
You were disappointed you didn't pick the phone up.
I was working.
Oh, you were at that meeting? Oh, I forgot.
I wasn't at the meeting. I was on the free for all.
Oh,
I was on Zarian's show, the guy you don't like.
Oh, that guy. Let's not even bring him up. To get back to Dr. Bauman, I don't know. I met other doctors who kind of scared me, but this man I trust. I liked him, and I felt like I've known him for years. Well, he's young. He's very competent, and he doesn't come across as a know-it-all, which I think is a plus, Dr. Bauman. I mean, you come across as a very approachable guy. So I can imagine most of your patients feel the same way as Joe.
Well, I'm hoping that they do.
Joe, go ahead.
But when I met Joe, I had no idea that he was thinking about having more surgery. I mean, that was like the last thing on my mind. I really wanted to show him how to use the laser, show him how to use the topicals, and I thought that was going to be that.
Well, I think this is an interesting turn of events, and frankly, I'm glad because I know that Joe. I've always known that Joe could be helped. I've always felt that Joe could be helped, but he was just too much of a perfectionist. He really thought that unless he gets a full head of hair, and I think part of that is based on his past experiences with the different hair transplants that he's had, which were pretty disappointing, to say the least. Right, Joe?
Well, I've seen a lot worse cases than mine.
Well, there are worse cases, but you didn't get the results that you were expecting.
Well, no, but I've seen people who are 10 times worse than me. I mean, really bad. Mine is acceptable. But the doctor advised me to have to shave down the donor area, but I understood that because that grows back pretty fast. Am I correct, doctor?
Yes, in order to get the maximum amount of hair and to also kind of tiptoe through some of those areas that have some scar, we want to have as much access to the available donor hair as we can. So, yeah, I recommended a total shave for Joe. Now obviously, for other patients that may not be necessary at all. We can do a no shave procedure where we just work into a small zones to do the harvesting. But for Joe, in order to get the numbers that we need from the scalp, I think it's best to really shave it all the way down. And he seemed pretty okay with that.
He doesn't leave the house normally. Joe, how often do you how often do you leave the house? You go to the doctor, right? What else do you do?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I leave the house sometimes.
You do leave the house sometimes.
Yeah, a bit more out. But the thing is, the sides and back grow very fast. So within 2 weeks, it'll be, most of it will grow back.
Well,
let me ask this question. Go ahead, Spencer. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead, and then I'm gonna cut the segment. We're gonna take some more phone calls, and so ask Dr. Bauman your question, and we're gonna move on.
One question, two questions, Doctor. Like we said, the top is left alone. That's not touched. You just don't put the hairs in between that. That's correct?
Correct. So we don't have to trim the previously transplanted hair at all if we don't want to.
That's what I want. I don't want that touch, right?
Yeah, we'll leave that long, and I'll work in between.
Right. When you shave the back totally down, I mean, how do you see the hair? That's what I don't understand. If it's bone dry shaved, how are you able to see any hairs?
Well, when I say shave, it's actually buzzed, and it's going to be buzzed down to a 0. So that's a clipper with no guard. It's kind of like when you join the Army, they use a buzzer to shave it. So I'm not using a razor to shave it, but I call it a shave, but it's really a buzz.
Oh, so you'll be able to see the hairs to physically pluck them.
Correct. Yes, each hair will be 2 millimeters.
And keep in mind, I'm sure Dr. Bauman uses magnification, so he can see these hairs that, the stubble, they're quite large when you're looking at it through magnification.
Absolutely.
Let me just summarize. A man who cared enough to come and see me and come to my room proved to me what a great guy he really is. That's why I put my trust in this man.
Well, besides caring, it's the courage that it took, in my opinion.
Oh, good. What'd you tell him about me anyway?
Only good things. Otherwise, he wouldn't have come to see you.
Oh, I wore my NYPD stuff to make him more comfortable. I left my 9mm in the closet.
Dude, you could buy that crap in any store in Chinatown. Come on. You know that. What stuff? I don't have a deep. I know yours happens to be real, but you can buy similar stuff in Chinatown.
Yeah, sure. I also gave Dr. Bauman a little police car for his office and a cup and some other thing, a water bottle to put in his office to remember me by.
Yeah, I never got anything from you, Joe.
I got
we never meet. We don't touch it.
Be careful, you just might.
Oh my God.
Let me just say this again. Dr. Bauman is the most sincerest person I've met. I recommend that Bauman Medical to anyone.
Well, listen, he's a great guy. He's been a friend of the Ball Truth forever, from the beginning. He's actually one of the first doctors that I've ever recommended. I think you came on board like a year after we started, right, Doc? Yeah,
from the beginning.
Yeah.
It's been a long, strange trip, but it's been excellent.
Well, Dr. B, listen, I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for taking the time, obviously, to meet Joe from Staten Island. And you've given him some hope, which after 17 years, this is the first time I've ever heard him be hopeful, ever. So I think it's great.
Well done.
Well, thanks so much. I look forward to helping him further, and it was amazing to meet the one, the only, and the celebrity Joe from Staten Island. He's a great guy as well, and we look forward to working together.
All right, guys, and we're going to follow up on this story, obviously. So hopefully Joe will, at the very least, maybe we can get some images at some point of just his face blocked out for the website, something. People want to see Joe being helped. So, Joe, we'll talk about that, all right?
Okay, Spencer. I'll definitely consider that.
All right.
And thank you, Spencer, for putting me in contact with Dr. Bauman. And thank you so much, Dr. Bauman. You're really real Class A gentleman.
All right, guys. Listen, you guys have a good night. I really appreciate the call. Dr. B, take care.
Thank you, Doctor.
Good night, Dr. B.
All right, Spencer.
All right, take care.
All right, Joe. Take it easy.
Right.
Take it easy, Joe Tronic.
All right.
Take care.
888-659-3727. I thought I'd never get Joe off the air. The guy just does not stop.
He doesn't stop, but you know what? He sounded not just lucid, but he just sounded good.
Well, you know what? Like I said, he sounded hopeful for the first time ever.
Yeah. I'm genuinely happy for the guy. It's like I don't know. I'm kind of I'm almost at a loss for words. I've never heard him sound this good.
Well, have you ever met Dr. B in person?
No.
He's a very upbeat dude. I mean, like you meet this guy, you are like, just whatever you want to do, let's do it.
Well, hang on. Okay, I didn't say I met him.
Yeah.
But I did, like at the last conference in 2013 in San Francisco, I did see him being the social butterfly, going from table to table, talking to different people. And he is, I mean, look, I was observing everyone, right?
He's like the most positive dude you'd ever want to meet.
Yeah.
Like he's the guy you want to hang out with.
He was definitely, remember I was telling you about the first night I got to the conference when I just got there from the airport and was kind of tired late.
Yeah.
And down at the bar, there was like all these doctors.
Right.
He was one of them. And he was having, I could tell he's having some really serious conversations with some people. Then he'd go over and, backslap and have a good time with some other people. And I could tell he's a very upbeat guy.
Well, let's put it this way. He's the guy that when I was in Vegas that I went out with after all the festivities with all the other dogs. He just, wanted to have a good time. He did not go overboard, so don't think that he did, guys. But I mean, it was just like, it was just a fun time. He's a very approachable, very human type of guy, and I'm glad that he connected with Joe. I think that's important because that's tough. I mean, Joe went to see a couple of doctors that, who he did not connect well with.
Yeah.
And that's not easy to connect with Joe. So,
well, kudos to Dr. Bauman for connecting with him because that was a tall order for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad that he did. Let's take a phone call. Hey man, you are on the air. Who's this, and where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Sam from Kansas City.
Hey, how are you, Sam?
Hi, Sam.
Good. How are you doing?
Not bad, man. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Is there a delay or? I think there's a delay.
It's possible there's a delay. Normally there isn't. It could be.
Does he have the show?
Do you have your show on? Do you have your computer up? Sam, do you have your computer on?
No, I don't have my computer on. I'm just on the phone.
Okay. Do you hear the delay right now?
I think it's fine now.
Okay.
It was probably just in my head.
Okay.
But yeah, it was. This is the first time I ever heard Joe on the air. I started when I started tuning into the show when he was taking his leave. I didn't really know he was taking leave, but it's just interesting to hear him actually talk. Like,
isn't it? So what do you think? I mean, you actually caught him on a good night.
I mean, I've heard him one other night, and I could tell that he loves to ramble on about things. But,
that's true. That's it in a nutshell right there. So go ahead, Sam.
Mm-hmm. So if you remember, the last time I called, I was having issues taking the generic Finasteride. If you don't know, I don't know if you do or not remember, but I was the guy who took it once.
Had numb penis, and then you took it again. It was fine, and then all of a sudden you started to get some other side effects.
Yeah. I started to take it in half. Like I started doing it in half, like what my doctor recommended.
Right.
And it was fine again, and then it was okay. And then I started taking a full dose because he recommended to go up to a full dose when your body adjusts. And so I started getting blurry vision, and then the chest pain, and so it was GERD. I figured out.
So it was GERD. It was GERD.
Well, yeah, it definitely was because I took Tums and I felt relief. And
so you listened to my advice. I'm glad.
Oh no, yeah. When we were finished talking the last time, I just went to Hy-Vee and got some Tums, and it was fine.
That's awesome.
So you helped.
Good. I'm glad.
So what I did
now,
was,
did the Tums help your eyesight? Because if it helped your eyesight, then I'm gonna open up shop somewhere.
Yeah. I haven't. So what I did was I compared the filler ingredients with the generic Dr. Reddy's and the Propecia, and sodium docusate was pretty high on, like there's a lot of sodium docusate on the generic, and there wasn't any for the Propecia.
Right.
And I guess that causes people gastrointestinal issues.
That's very interesting.
And so, yeah.
God, I love being right like that.
So I got on the Propecia, and it felt like it was a little bit better with it, but I still had gastrointestinal issues, so I started crushing it, and I still felt like I had some vision and gastrointestinal issues, but now I'm taking it once every 3 days.
Okay.
And is that effective? And I've been doing that for a while, like a few weeks.
You know, it's interesting. A lot of doctors will say no, but I really do believe that, and Dr. Bauman said something interesting. You know, a little finasteride is better than no finasteride, and it really depends on the person. So I think, and again, I'm not a physician, I do believe that it's dose dependent, and I have, you know, heard anecdotal evidence that guys who take that small of an amount will benefit from the drug. So if you're not having side effects and you're able to take that for now and see what happens. And again, I'm not a doctor, but that's I think that's, if you're feeling okay on this dosage, then stick with this.
Yeah, I'm very okay with it. I haven't felt any side effects from this. But so when you take it, I mean, obviously, like this, it was, you know, your hair doesn't grow back in a few weeks. But what about like hair loss? Do you notice less hair loss, or like do you still notice hair falling out usually when you start taking it?
It really depends on the person. And in my particular case, I noticed a cessation of hair loss within about 3 months. And I also noticed a reversal of the miniaturization process within that same time. So after a 3-month period, I noticed, like, holy cow, it doesn't seem like I'm losing my hair anymore, and everything seemed thicker. I was a very quick responder. I must have caught the process, you know, in an anagen phase, and things just kind of kicked in because I went through a shed months later. So for me, it was pretty quick, and it seemed like a real miracle. I don't know, Joe, what's your take?
Well, for me, I mean, it was kind of the opposite. I didn't really notice anything until about 9 months after I started taking it when I went to see Dr. Wong again, and he pointed out that that my crown was a bit stronger. The bottom half of my crown still had some finer telogen, or not telogen, but losing it right now. But anyway,
catagen.
Thank you. Yeah, weaker hairs, and they had strengthened up, and it was a very, you know, I didn't have much to really gain as far as like the top, because all the hair on top of my scalp was transplanted anyway. But for the bottom of the crown and even the donor zone, that did improve as well.
Well, and that's what Dr. Bauman brought up, and it's really, and that's something that's really overlooked. The fact that you can improve and create a more robust donor area. So if guys are put on medication for a year, even a year prior to their surgery, it's possible that you're going to be able to move more hair. And
I agree with 100%.
That's something that people don't really take into consideration. I speak to so many guys who are like, you know what? You know, it's funny. I spoke to a guy today who is a physician who had I had a guy who applied to the organization, and I spoke to a physician who had surgery by this guy, and he had an incredible result, but he chose not to take finasteride. And this is a doctor, based on concerns of adverse side effects. He doesn't treat people in this field, so he doesn't know much about the drug except for what he's read. And he's like, you know what? He just wanted to kind of fix it and move on. And I had to explain to this physician that you don't just fix hair loss. It's a progressive situation. So by not taking finasteride, you're really giving yourself less of a chance of really having, you know, the most bang for your buck when it comes to your surgery. You're happy now, but I mean, things could progress. So I definitely think that's something that's really overlooked as far as, you know, possibly creating more hair that could be moved, or at least better quality hair.
I've always had a hard time understanding, especially like a doctor would not understand that it is progressive. It's like in dentistry, you don't fix tooth decay or tooth health overall by just replacing one tooth.
Right.
I mean, it's ongoing.
Listen, and I don't get it. I speak to a lot of doctors, and sometimes I'm like, Wow. I mean, this guy's a smart guy too. I mean, this guy, totally, obviously at the top of his field, really smart guy. But I mean, I guess if you don't research a particular topic or subject, you're unaware of the reality of what that is. And
True.
He just believed that, you know what, he was relatively young. I think he's 43 years old. He hasn't progressed that much. He just wanted to fix it. Right now, he is happy. So maybe he won't progress, but the likelihood is he will.
Yeah.
So anyway, go ahead, man. I'm sorry we kind of hijacked your call.
Oh, no worries. When Joe was talking about his experience on the drug, I was wondering, so when he said he didn't notice anything, was it you didn't notice the hair falling? Like, when you said you didn't notice an improvement at first, was it the hair? You didn't notice less hair falling out? Or
Well, understand this. When I first started the medication, I was already well into Norwood 6 territory, right? I didn't start...
Oh, wow,
Yeah, I didn't start the medication until I had my first repair surgery with Dr. Wong. I didn't really know much about it. This is early 2002, so it was still a fairly new drug as far as the public was concerned. But yeah, I went to have my first repair surgery, and it was just 2,406 grafts for the frontal zone to deal with the pluggy hairline I had, and to give me some sort of coverage behind it, because that's all I had. And so I had very little native hair in the Norwood 6 pattern. Like I was saying earlier, the only real native hair I had was on the bottom half of my crown, but that was very thin and weak, and that was the area that it was noticeable. I was never one of these guys that noticed the hair in my hands when I'm in the shower, or how much hair was in the sink, or whatever. I was never one of those guys, or at least not later on by the time I got to my first repair surgery. But I was concentrating on the result of my surgery for a long time, meaning like for the first several months, because I was always documenting. I was the first patient in the world to really document online in near real time, and so I was busy doing that, and noticing new growth, and
God, we are getting old, like man. I can't believe that. You are the original hair transplant mentor, man.
Long time ago. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, it was, for me, it was just like, okay, I'm doing the surgery, so I need to do everything I can to keep my hair looking good, because I don't want to get into another situation like I did before, where I didn't do anything to stop my loss. Because Dr. Wong educated me about the medication, and I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. And never look back, right? So my experience is different than a lot of guys. It's different than Spencer's, because he caught his early.
Right.
I didn't. I mean, pardon my French, but I was fucked for a long time.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's important when I do have you on the program, and you've been coming on more often, to have that perspective. I was very lucky. I dealt with the emotional battles and the emotional issues of going through the initial throes of hair loss, and I still, dummy up my hair, whatever it is, but I still caught it early. Early intervention is key, and I was lucky enough and somehow had the wherewithal to say, you know what, I'm going to jump on this medication. I don't care what the doctors are saying. I don't care what, some guys who are trying to sell me some, bullshit concoction, saying that this is going to, create feminizing effects. I was willing to give it a shot, and it worked for me. It was life-changing.
That wasn't even an issue for me, the feminizing effects.
Well,
I had no idea.
Yeah, but that's the thing. When I first started, initially the prostate medication that was being prescribed before Proscar was causing a lot of these, a lot more gynecomastia, more feminizing effects. Yeah. So a lot of doctors thought that this drug would do the same thing, even though there was no scientific data or even anecdotal evidence that this was happening. Well, there wasn't at the time.
Not at the time.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah,
and actually,
20-some years ago.
Yeah, and still there really isn't. What do you have now? You have gynecomastia, which is very rare, and you have possible sexual side effects, which in most cases. You go ahead.
That guy that called in earlier in the show had gyno, right?
That's right.
Yep.
That's exactly what he had. Yeah. So, but I've been doing this show for 17 years. I would say 5 people have called in who have actually had significant gyno. It's pretty rare.
Reversible.
And it's reversible, yeah.
In most cases. And in the 11 years I've had of seeing people face to face, and countless thousands of online consultations I've done, I can also say it's rare. I've had probably less than 10 people I've talked to.
I think I may be getting some gyno now that I'm getting older. That's the scary thing.
That's beer boobs, man.
That's what it is, yeah.
Bud boobs.
I've been reading the forums. I mean, I shouldn't, but
dude, don't read the fucking forums. What am I telling you?
Yeah, and people are complaining that it causes them tooth decay. Have you heard that one before?
Are you? Oh my god, dude, stay off the forums, please.
Oh,
yeah,
you're doing well right
now. You
now.
guys never heard that before?
No.
Yeah, so far, yeah. You haven't heard that one?
No.
They're saying that finasteride is fucking up their teeth, and that because I guess it gives you dry mouth or something.
Are you kidding me? Did you ever see my teeth? I have incredible. I'm crazy about my teeth.
I gotta tell you.
Yeah, your teeth look fine. Yeah.
I've seen his teeth in person, and they're scary.
I'm crazy about them. I mean, I floss 3 times a day. I'm a nut job.
He couldn't hide in the dark if he had to.
I guess that people
just
are
don't smile.
using it as a scapegoat for any sort of decline in their physical appearance. They'll attribute it to that drug they once took. And
I agree, man. There's no. I mean, oh my god, tooth decay. That's the first time I ever heard of that.
I've never heard that. And I gotta look. I was at the dentist probably a few months ago for the first time in quite a while, and I've been taking this medication for 12 years now, and if there was an issue with that, then yeah, he would have said something. But it's
well.
I hate saying it's not going to happen, but it's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm actually what you would consider long in the tooth at this point in my life. I mean, I'm getting up there in years, and that's the last thing. I mean, I go to the dentist, every 6 months, and no issue. I've been on the drug for over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, don't call back. Please don't call back with any new side effects that you read about.
Because people will latch onto it and it'll spread.
Yeah,
people start thinking.
Right now you're doing fine. So stick with it and do not read the forums. Come back, call me next week or the week after. If you don't read the forums, I bet you're going to be okay. All right.
Probably.
All right, man.
All right.
Listen, good luck. I'm glad you're doing better.
Thanks
for the call.
Brush your teeth.
Good night.
Yeah, brush your teeth. Take care.
I promise.
All right.
See you.
Take care.
Bye.
Jesus, tooth decay. God, another one.
Oh my God, what?
It's happening. 888-659-3727. Let's see who this is. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Brian from LA. Or should I say Brian the actor?
Brian the actor. Brian from LA. I called you Doug the other day. I forgot. I don't know why.
Doug Schmug.
Whatever. What's happening, dude?
I wanted to call. I just got out of the gym. I want to say hi to Joe. I haven't caught him on the air yet. Every time I call, he's not on the air.
Joe is. I hung up on Joe because
no, the Joe that's currently on the air.
Oh, Joe Tillman.
Mentor.
Well, say hi.
There it is.
How you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good.
Not bad. I missed the beginning of the show, but from what I got from the last caller, apparently Staten Island was actually lucid beyond belief.
He sounded great.
He sounded good. He actually had a face-to-face meeting with Dr. Alan Bauman in New York. Now, get this. In order for him to be able to meet in person, Joe had to rent a hotel room. It was a whole setup. Bauman had to call him from downstairs. Joe had to meet him in the hallway.
Sounds romantic.
It was pretty, yeah, it's pretty hot. And I got a picture. I'm telling you, it looked like an ISIS picture from Bauman. Jesus. He texted me this picture. Someone could have been holding a gun to his back. That's how scary it looked.
Wow. Well, see, do I need to get a different impersonation of Joe now that he's talking more chipper, more happy?
Well, he's more happy, but it's the same Joe, so you can do your thing.
Joe.
All right. Well, another time. I wanted to talk to you a couple. Maybe I'll hit it. At the end.
All right.
But I wanted to say a couple of things. And I don't know. I don't want to come down on Joe, but I'd heard. I don't know if it was the last one or the one before. where he was saying, he's got two different stories about that whole email that he sent. One was that it was taken out of proportion, and then the other one was it was a joke or something like that.
It's all bullshit.
Yeah, well, we all know that, and that's what I want to say. I said, Joe, just come out and say you're sorry. Just say you're sorry, dude.
Fucking own it, man. Just fucking own it. What's the big deal?
You know what? We all know you're going through problems, and you're getting upset and frustrated, and you feel like.
I got drunk. I got drunk at a medical conference. Woke up with one sock. There was a Newport in the ashtray with some dark lipstick. I don't know what happened. And I own it. I'm sorry.
I got a full body tan, and no one told me to put a sock over my cock, and I got extremely cooked eggs. I was pissed the whole day. I told every one of my friends off.
It's like,
and they said, "What's your problem?" I go, "I didn't have a sock cock."
They sell those at the front of the salon, dude. Come on.
Yeah, they showed that to me after I baked my goods. It's crazy.
At least they showed you.
No, he's got to own it. Eventually, maybe he will.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Just own it. Just say you're sorry. Say, you got a little bit upset by whatever the direction the show is. You're back in there, calling every once in a while. But just, the lies, or the excuses makes it worse, Joe. So just come in and say, look, I'm sorry. You've been good to me. I got a little too big for my britches for a second, but I'm back, and I just want to say I'm sorry. It always goes a long way. It'll make everybody appreciate you more.
Of course it does. Yeah. Don't pull a Brian Williams. Is that his name, Brian Williams?
Oh, my God. I used to love watching that guy.
But whatever, listen, the guy reads the news. You know what I mean? Why is everyone taking it so seriously? I mean, the guy, he reads a teleprompter for a living. Okay, he lied. Just if he owned it and said, you know what, I know you guys depend on me, and you take the time to watch what I do, and I feel like I've disappointed you. Just come out and say you're sorry, and just say basically I'm going to quit. I guarantee you, people would be calling up the station, the network, saying we don't want to see him go. Just own the fucking thing.
But he's not doing it. He's like,
you don't forget if you don't forget whether or not you've been shot down in a helicopter. I mean, maybe I do, but I have problems.
Well, and you woke up with one sock.
That's right. So
it was a hell of a party.
Apologies. I don't know why people forget how important they are, and we're not stupid. I mean, everybody can tell when a lie or excuse is hitting someone's lips, and so it humanizes you, and people identify with you. You get people right back on your team when you apologize, at least as much as it can be.
Look, I've always believed that I'm Mr. Full Disclosure. And I learned that early on in my career. Tell people the situation. Tell them the truth right away. This way, they can never come back and say you bullshitted them. Even like with the IHS, the minute I started that organization, I said, listen. The people pay me to be a part of this. This is how it works. They apply, they're rejected. If they make it, they pay me this much money. And people thought I was out of my mind to say that. But no one else will admit that. And then, but when you do that, then people start counting your money. But it is what it is.
Yeah, there's a truth to what you say, and I think even though you have your detractors and people that will call you out, there's a lot of us, and I feel like I'm one of them, where I just know. Sorry, I'm on the streets if you hear some cars going by.
Sorry.
You just know when you hear something genuine and you appreciate it. And that's what I've always felt for you when I was listening to your podcast. I just realized that this is a guy who feels like if I were to create a show and I felt passionate about this, I would kind of go that same direction and just be straight there, honest and whatever. And you're even honest about if you're going to take money. You say, like, one day I'm going to cash out and I'm going to sell out and I'm going to make money.
That's right.
And, I actually hope you do that someday.
Well, when the time is right, you guys will know. I'm like, all right, we love, so-and-so. And there's a big thumbs up. The next day, there's going to be like a little guy with a fishing rod on my website. And it's going to be like, gone fishing, motherfuckers. And that's it.
If someone deserves it, it's you. You and Joe Tillman. You guys, go fishing together.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, man. I really do. And I still haven't come down to your new place. I have to go back on Facebook. And how are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there.
How is it working out?
It's good. I got to get off the days. The days are killing me. Because people can go in there and order a salad and soup, And I got to tell you about Beverly Hills. There are some douchebags in Beverly Hills.
And there's some cheap mother effers there, too. Let me tell you.
Oh, my God, dude. I cannot believe. I split a party of 7, and there, people are going crazy. We're not talking about people balding. Anyways, I split a party of 7, and, 7 ways, and they start complaining for the 3 to 5 minutes it took me to do the math and get all the paperwork and the pins together. And then
they got some important shit to do. And they're splitting it 7 ways.
They can sit there for 2 hours and jab all night, and then when it's time for the bill, they get upset when it's 4 minutes.
Here's the thing: when you met me at the restaurant you didn't even let me know that you were a fan. That's what it was a little creepy. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I really appreciate that.
Well, that's the way I get my crotch closer to your face. Because if I tell you, you'll kind of lean back.
But that was a very interesting. It was also an interesting test because that was not a good night for that restaurant.
No, it wasn't. We turned it around.
And I think me and common law handled it pretty well.
Yeah. Well,
I remember the story. I remember you telling this one.
Yeah, they sat him in a little shitty 2-top, and it was supposed to go to someone else, and then they threw it on my lap, and I didn't see your face yet. I just saw the bodies there, and I go, they've been sitting there for like 5-6 minutes already. Why am I? You guys need to get on the ball. And then so I went over there, and I go, oh, hey, this guy. And then so I just did my thing and told him next time he comes in, we'll take care of him again. And now I'm at this place. You got to come to this place. It's a nice place. You'll like it.
Oh, I absolutely will. We'll make it happen. But so you're mostly working days though.
No, I work nights and days. I'll be working the rest. I work tomorrow daytime, and then I work the rest of the week nights. So, the days are killing me. They're like $50-$60 a shift, and I'm like, the parking and the driving. But before I take everybody's time up, and I don't want. The other thing I was going to call in is I wanted to add. Refresh everybody's, I've said this before, mind about a regimen. Everybody has their regimen, their Finasteride and their, whatever, the Nizoral shampoo and all that crap. The one thing you guys got to remember as part of your regimen is the P, and that stands for personality. You guys have to work on your personality because deep down inside, we don't know what's going on up there. If you're going to lose it all, if you're going to keep it all, if you're going to be able to salvage it, if it's cures around the corner, but you can work on your personality now. And, every day, something that I try to do for myself is try to do something nice for somebody, try to make someone smile, laugh, or whatever. Today I was at the gym. I was actually at the gym like 20, 30 minutes ago. A really hot chick comes through the steam room. And there was an actor in there, and he was a hot guy. He's a good-looking dude.
Right.
And everybody knew who he was, too. And he's over there sitting down, and, it's that kind of like
it's a co-ed steam. It's a co-ed steam room?
Oh, yeah.
God, I'm getting old, and I have never seen that
I got
before.
one of those in my gym.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they're pretty.
I have one in the house, but there's only 2 people here. But go ahead.
Well, it's co-ed.
That's
there
true.
You go.
Yeah.
And there's probably no restriction on clothing there.
That's true.
Hello.
So anyways, this hot chick comes in. Every guy's looking at her, and it's kind of that awkward quietness. And so I sit there and I pop a little small conversation. She starts talking to me, but you can see her looking at the guy, right? And then the guy, good head of hair, good looking and everything, and he's like whatever, kind of sitting in between us or whatever, or not in between us. I'm in between them, but he's on the side. He interjects. He says a couple things. Very douchebaggery. Like right off the bat, you can tell it's a douchebag.
Yeah.
And she could pick it up. And so she instantly, she got her question answered. That was him. That was, who she thought it was. And then that's done with. And she's right back on me.
I love hearing stories like that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And, that's what I'm saying. It's like you can work on your body and your personality, and you should. If you're shut in and you're crying about your hair all day, and you're sitting there thinking, I suck, and no one's ever going to like me, no one's ever going to love me, no one's ever going to want this, you're manifest destiny. You're making it happen. If you sit there and you own it and you sit there and say, I can work on this, I can make this, I'm telling you, we're not lying, you can pull a bad chick. You can pull one if you just put your brain power into it and you exercise that.
I mean, you're 100% right. I always say it, and it's the truth. You just have to be good looking enough. That's it. As long as you don't embarrass the broad, And you could basically win over any, hot guy or whatever you think is a hot guy. Women really, in the end, they want the attention anyway. And they want you to be cool. If you said this guy was a douchebag, he couldn't help it. That's just his personality.
And he didn't really say anything overt. He just, the way he said it and the way that he looks, his eyebrows and everything that he moves, the way he moves, you just tell that, like, I know who I am, I know you know who I am, and I'm the shit.
Right.
And it's like, okay, we've seen this before in L.A. And another thing about women that they understand is that they all have that princess mentality. We have the knight in shining armor. Sure, we want to be the shimmering knight with the gray hair, right?
Right.
But they want to be princess.
Right.
And you don't have to be that knight to make them feel like a princess. It's really kind of a selfish thing, but it's like Facebook. They really want your likes and you to look on their page. You don't have to necessarily have a great page on your side.
That's
as
actually...
long as you make them feel loved, as long as they make you feel, cared for, they'll appreciate you and they'll want you around.
Dude, why don't you write a book, dude? That's brilliant.
That is brilliant.
I'm telling you, that is such a great, what's the word that I'm looking for? Description of analogy or illustration of, it's amazing. Really, that's so perfect.
You just got to think about your friends and who makes you feel good. And if you ever have that friend that just laughs at your jokes, smiles at you, and you want to be around that person.
I don't have anything like
around
that.
You because they make you feel good.
I pay people to do that.
Yeah, I pay people.
All right, dude, listen, I'm going to take one more call and then call it a night, but it's always a pleasure. It's great hearing from you.
Great hearing from you.
All right.
Great job.
Have a great night.
All right, not Joe from Staten Island. Thanks for the call, man. You take care.
One more thing. One more play. Play my intro. All right. Are we ready?
Good night. All right, man. One more call. That's a very positive message. I love that guy.
Yeah.
He's a
great
he's
message.
a cool dude. Let's take this call and then we're going to go. All right, man. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hello, guys. This is Mr. Dave Artista here.
Oh, all right. So now let's hear the fucking truth.
Let's hear it.
That's what I want to hear because Joe doesn't have the balls like Brian from L.A., the actor, said, just to own it. Just own up to it. Say, listen, I fucked up.
Yeah, I appreciated what he just said. The last caller, what was his name again?
Brian.
Brian from L.A.
Brian, yeah, Brian, thank you. That was great what you had to say. And when I was listening, Joe from Staten said, I misunderstood him once again. He said that.
How do you misunderstand the email? You read it. You read it on the air. How is that a misunderstanding?
Very articulately.
I was thinking,
yeah.
I have it in front of me now. I could reread it.
I would like you to. That would be
right.
Fucking perfect.
All right, Joe from Staten, I know you're listening, and maybe you should call in, okay? But I'm going to reread this. And December 10th of last year, you said to me, Dave, I have officially resigned from the Bald Truth. I am totally bored by the deceptions and total nonsense. And then the next day, in December 11th,
wait a second. I'm gonna pause that and I'm gonna file it away. Deceptions and nonsense. That is what. Not only is that offensive. It's so hard for me to believe that Joe would put that in writing.
It's almost like someone hijacked his account.
Yeah, it's like deceptions of what? That Joe Tillman loves his hair transplant and that I've done well in Propecia? How is that a fucking deception?
I do have I do have to admit something. I hate my hair.
He makes the
shave it off.
He says that he is bipolar. He constantly says he's bipolar, and that's why these things happen.
Yeah, that's a good excuse.
What do you think about that?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what
on December 11th,
I tell my wife I'm a sex addict. You know what I mean? That's my excuse.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And on December 11th, Joe says to me, I am delegating you as my representative on the Bold Truth to announce live on the air to my millions of fans that I will no longer be appearing live on the Bald Truth. And then I responded, I said, if that's what you really want to do, then okay, I'll call into the show next Tuesday. His response was, yes, Dave, please do. I would appreciate it. And please state the specific reasons why I am submitting my resignation. Thank you, my good friend, Sincerely Joe. And his reasoning was that he was bored of the deceptions and total nonsense.
And did he just give you did he elaborate on those deceptions and the nonsense?
Not really. No. Well, over a period of time of our conversations, I've heard what he had to say about, different. I'm not going to talk about it, but well, anyways.
Well, I appreciate you reading that, and I not only do I find that repugnant and extremely disappointing. I think what's most disappointing, like Brian from LA said, is that he just won't own up to it. You know?
You have to own up to your mistakes.
Oh, he loves the fact that I hooked him up with Alan Bauman. He loves that. Now he's my best friend again.
He's very thankful.
Yeah.
He's very thankful.
Yeah.
As
so
he
why
should
is
be.
He still saying that I misunderstood him. I did not. He never said anything about taking a medical leave from your
Look,
team.
his biggest issue, I don't mean to cut you off, is that we talk about Propecia on this show and my success on the drug, and that we talk about hair transplants. He's always said that he believes that it's a deception to say that hair transplants are a viable option. Now he's having a hair transplant.
Right. Joe from Staten, are you listening? I hope so.
Now that he's got a good deal, he's getting a hair transplant. He's very thankful.
He and I had a conversation via email today. We wrote back and forth, and he apologized. He apologized to me personally for saying what he said, and he does agree that Finasteride does do, it is a viable treatment for some people.
Yeah, he's just kissing your ass.
That's not what he used to say. Yeah, that's not what he used to say before.
Yeah. Well, listen, I know that I'm going to get the high sign from Andrew Zarian because they have another program that actually goes on the air in about 20 minutes. So I have to close up shop, but I just wanted to make sure that I took your call. I saw you holding on there. And I'm glad that you read that. Right. I'm glad that you read that. I think it's really important that people know that. I think that Joe, obviously, I don't, listen, to be honest with you, I'm not going to, I don't necessarily hold Joe responsible because he's not a well person. So I kind of understand that. Of course, I forgive him, but I just think he needs to own it. And once he owns up to it, then everything's cool.
Yeah, I'm forgiving too. He just has to own up.
But until that, tonight is the last time I play his opening. That's it.
That's it, yeah. I suppose so. Well, it was good to talk to you guys. Hi, Joe Tillman.
You too, Artista.
Yeah, we'll be talking to you soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for the call, man. You take care. All right. Be well.
All right, guys. Take care. Bye.
Take care.
Okay, so let's close up shop. I mean, we had a very busy show, very eventful. A lot of good stuff happening. Answered a lot of questions. There's obviously, unfortunately, still a lot of people that they're lost. They're in need. They just want they want our support. That's what we're here for. I am actually glad that Joe has decided to move forward in his life, and hopefully a year from now he can contact the show if we're still doing this, and I probably will be, and say that he's happy with his head of hair.
I'd like to hear that. I'd like to see that happen. It's I think it's time. I mean, he's been going through this for 17 years plus. At least since you've been on.
Yeah.
And I mean, for him to make this step, I think it's a huge move for him. I was listening to him saying how Dr. Bauman basically turned his opinion on multiple issues completely around, just with this one visit. And I think that's, kudos to Dr. Bauman for that. And I got to give Joe credit for finally taking that step, and hopefully it'll work out.
Well, I hope it does too. I hope that, we don't find Dr. Bauman floating in the river somewhere. I'm just kidding. Dr. Bauman, I'm sure you're 100% safe. And Joe, if you're listening, I'm just obviously joking. Joe Tillman, the original hair transplant mentor, you can obviously find him posting on our message forum at baldtruthtalk.com. Joe, anything new happening?
Nothing new. Still, I'm juggling a few things right now, but the website is almost complete and will be launched here soon.
All right. So when it's launched, you will announce it on the air.
Yes, I will.
Okay, man. Listen, thank you so much for hanging out.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, you got it. Guys, the website's thebaldtruth.com for archives of this broadcast, both audio and video. You can obviously download the show via iTunes through the GFQ network, Guys from Queens network. You could also watch the archives on the GFQ network. It's guysfromqueens.com. Let me give you the American Hair Loss Association website, which is americanhairloss.org. If you are considering surgery, check out the International Alliance of Hair Restoration Surgeons before you make any decision to go with any doctor. We certainly believe it is the safest place to start your research. And also, if you're considering or if you'd like to speak with other hair loss sufferers, check out our message forum, which is baldtruthtalk.com. Please remember to take what you read on any message forum, including ours, with a grain of salt. We do try to moderate the forum, and we do a great job, and it's a relatively private forum. But the truth is, you never really know where the information is coming from. So unless it's coming from a verified expert, someone that you know and that you're familiar with, continue to do your due diligence and make sure that you research every option before you just take the advice of an anonymous user. Until next time, be strong, God bless, and thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry for any inconvenience you may have been put to prior to the program, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. And if you could now leave by the exits at the rear, that'd be splendid. Thank you. Good night.